Hey, hi Sundaresh. Good evening.
Hey, good evening, Akhil.
I hope you and your family are stay safe and healthy. And thanks a lot for joining this interactive session on role of PLM in Industry 4.0. For the uninitiated, just a quick background on myself. My name is Akhil Jain, and I manage the PLM service line in ITC Infotech. And I have with me Mr. Sundaresh, who manages or who heads the Product 4.0 service line in ITC Infotech. Sundaresh, would you like to add something about Industry 4.0, Product 4.0, and about yourself before we get started?
Thanks, Akhil. It's actually a pleasure to be here and to be discussing this topic, which I think is actually interesting as well as evolving. Hi, all. Thanks for joining. Good evening, good morning. I'm Sundaresh. I manage Product 4.0 offering for ITC Infotech globally. We help customers engineer the product, implement PLM solutions, industrialize the product through MES, MOM, and digital factory solutions, and design and optimize a distribution. So that's what we do for our customers, and we call this product 4.0, which is a small variation from Industry 4.0 because we cover right from concept design all the way up to distribution of the product. Akhil, to begin with, in the context of Industry 4.0 and digital transformation, I see various transformations are in play in the market with our customers that requires various systems also to evolve. One of them definitely is a PLM system, right? These changes are not happening in isolation. PLM system also has to change. So in today's conversation, we will try to see what are some of these trends and how are these impacting and changing PLM systems. I think that's what we will try to do in the time that we have today. To
Sure.
start with, I see a very rapid movement in terms of products are becoming smarter. They are not only becoming smarter, but are becoming more configurable. Customers can go in and configure their product for their needs and for their preferences. These configurations are also not just skin deep. They are not just changes in color and changes in few things, but they are really going deep. They can actually select various systems. Complex products are also providing these options today. Given this trend, what do you see PLM systems changing and evolving to, in some ways, manage this new requirement?
Yeah, Sundaresh. So, see, first of all, we need to see that the product, the configurable product need is being driven from the need of mass customization, and at the same time need for by the manufacturers to bring differentiated products in the market faster. Now, if you see in the old days, we had a normal product with only mechanical and electrical components, right? These days, because the products are becoming smarter, connected, so they need to have a software component also, which means the whole bill of material and the product life cycle is becoming complex. The bill of material is having not only mechanical, electrical components, but software product components as well, embedded software and others. Now, what it means is now using the same product platform and tweaking the software, I can actually use various software features to create product variants, giving birth to product configurability, right? And in the older days, till some years back, you would see that PLM system was a siloed system. And though the need for configurable products was there then at that time as well, but then those configurations were managed separately, like in the legacy system, and then integrated to a PLM system. But if you see these days, most of the PLM platforms have evolved. They have become much more smarter. They're more like a platform rather than a siloed system. And now I can actually define, let's say, a product platform within a PLM system itself. For example, I can define a 150% or a super bomb, which I can use to derive a super M bomb. And then, depending upon a particular order or a particular feature, rule, options, choices, I can actually create a 100% M bomb, which actually can be manufactured depending upon the customer need. Now, all these things were not possible in an integrated platform earlier. Today, the PLM platform itself provides you that facility to create configurable products, giving the competitive edge to manufacturers.
Thanks, Akhil. I think that kind of provides a view of how PLM is trying to evolve. I'm sure various platforms in the market have different levels of maturity, and it is still an hybrid system where possibly certain things are still done outside. But it's good to know that with our customers, we are able to do some of this in the native PLM system. Taking it forward from here, if you look at configurable products, the next step is once the customer orders a configurable product, be it on a website or somewhere else or with some other mechanism, every company today is trying to see how they can crunch the turnaround time from the time he places the order all the way up
Yeah.
to the product is delivered to him, right? However, the complexity here is it's not an off-the-shelf product. He has asked for certain preferences. Those exactly has to be matched. And in many cases, it's also about a lot of personalization is done on the product. For example, on the dashboard of the car, maybe his name is written in the way it is asked for and things like that. So it's not a standard production system that you can use to do this. So some of the customers are getting into an automated autonomous production system wherein these information has to go in and automatically the lines get set up and then these products start getting rolled out. Of course, when I say this, there are various levels of maturity. Everybody is not at the cutting edge of what an autonomous production is, but everybody is getting there at various levels of maturity. So given this, how does PLM system manage this? What is the role that PLM system can play to, in fact, enhance the value here or do this function?
Yeah. See, you mentioned a very relevant point in these days, Sundaresh. So these days, as we touched upon the first point, the need is for creating more and more configured product, mass customized product, driven by the need from the customer. Now, today, these days, customers can actually create or put an order in, let's say, in a CPQ system or a custom interface, uh, clearly asking what they need. And all those systems, all those information can actually be managed in a PLM system because PLM system is a platform. So once it goes to the PLM system, the way we have set it up, for example, if I am looking at product configuration, depending upon my products, bottom up, I can actually have a modularity driven, defined in CAD and all the way down to the bombs, or the other way around, having bombs at the master all the way up to CAD. Net using the super bombs. So once you're getting an order, I use the features, the information, put it in the order to drive 100% M-bomb, which actually gives birth to a product that can be manufactured. Now, traditionally, all these E-bombs and M-bombs were managed, let's say, in a PLM system and then pushed to the ERP system, for example, an M-bomb. And from the ERP system, let's say an MES system will pick it up. But now, what is also possible is when you're putting the data in the ERP system, I can directly pull the data from the ERP system and fed into the machines on the shop floor, which means that I have complete automation right from the point a customer is placing an order. And if I have a system created to take care of that order, the information will flow directly from, let's say, a CRM system all the way down to the manufacturing shop floor, giving the product that the customer has actually ordered. So it is all possible because PLM systems have actually become very flexible, very advanced, taking care of all this configuration and giving you a possibility to enabling direct manufacturing as well.
Yeah, thanks, Akhil. I think I remember an example from a few years ago where if you have to do this, then you need to generate that configuration. And then somebody from the manufacturing has to separately log in and take out this information and take it to the shop floor. And then in some ways do it manually in various lines. And that is how you would get the configured product out. And hence, customers were always little bit vary from taking too much configurations in the product. Whereas today, I think with these kinds of ability in the systems, I think they can be more differentiated. I think thanks for that perspective. See, the next aspect of when products become smarter and connected, companies also use this to see how they can create and unlock values in various ways. For example, if a product is in the field and if you are continuously knowing the performance, you know how the user is using them, you know if the product is showing some signs of some failure. So all this data is getting collected today, and a lot of companies are trying to see how they can actually go and improve customer experience or improve the service, or also use it to see how they can actually better their products and things like that. Given this, however, this means also a lots of volume of data in terabytes is coming to you every minute, every second from the field with the assets that you have in the market. So, how does this? How does PLM system manage this? Does PLM manage it at all? What is the approach that you have seen with some of our engagements?
Yeah, I think, as you rightly said, see, with the advent of IoT and IIoT, specifically for high capital intensive assets, there's a need for predictive monitoring so that you can get meaningful insight. But that comes at the cost of collecting terabytes of data. So what is more important is you can collect the data, but what do you do with the data? So that means you fed the data to an IoT platform, put advanced analytics, and make some sense out of it. Now, if you see, this is more relevant in, for example, an aerospace industry where an engine has a long life cycle, very capital intensive. You cannot afford a downtime. All this information is very important, needs to be mined, so you know when the failure point will happen. At the same time, when you're collecting that data, you also see what is relevant for the PLM. So from a PLM perspective, whenever we are collecting that data, we only filter some of the data that is directly pointing to, let's say, a product design or inherent defect that we see when the product was actually built using a certain configuration. And that filtered data from the analytics we actually see being fed to the PLM system. So the next version of the product is much more improved and without any errors.
Hey, good. See, I also think some of the companies are using this to see how they can reduce their warranty costs. They are kind of, when they do a next generation product, they try to kind of take care of all the field failures and things like that. But I think the difference with what you're saying is it is much more real time. If something happens in a field very many miles away, still you get the data very quickly. And I think that's the difference that possibly can crunch some of the time that the customer's asset is down, right? So it's a good example. Again, I'm trying to, in some ways, connect this to we have good information. We are collecting data from how the product is getting used in the field. That, in some ways, leads to today the way the products are serviced is very different from how it was done earlier. So today you have a lot of data, you know, specific use of that particular asset, how is it being used. You also have a lot of technologies today available in terms of you can have handles which the technician can take to the product. You have ability to do AR, VR. Are you seeing some of these things being coming into PLM and PLM managing this? End of the day, is it improving customers' experience with respect to service of his product?
Yes, so let me put my view, and I'll give you a couple of examples from what we have done with the customers and what the customers are asking. First of all, I think if you see, the customer is today buying not only the product based on the product capabilities, they're also buying the product looking at how well you can service the product, right? So it's no more about only the capability or the price, it is all about the connected package. Now, in the earlier times, the service management was kind of ignored, was not directly connected to the PLM system. Now, if you want to create the differentiation in your business model to have a competitive edge over your competitors, service management cannot be ignored. But that's why you need to have a very strong and differentiated service strategy, best to be hooked or integrated with the PLM system. So that means if you have you need to have the CAD and the PLM, then the ERP, the CRM, the field systems, and the SLM integrated together. I give you an example. For one of our customers, once they implemented the digital thread based on PLM backbone, they had a specific need of creating service-led differentiation. Why? Because when their products are actually going into the market, they wanted to have a very specific service bomb attached to the serialized product. Service, very specific digital service content, very specific replacement parts and parts catalog related information, so that when there is a failure happening in the field, the technician remotely is getting all the information related to that particular failure and can save time. And this facility or this experience was created by integrating the PLM and, let's say, the SLM system along with certain other tools. Most important, this information was in the hands of a technician not only in an online mode, but also in an offline mode extended to mobile handheld devices. Now, for another customer, the augmented reality experience was used to basically do preventive maintenance. For a particular product that they were having, they wanted to have a 12-point check. So that experience was built leveraging augmented reality. The most important thing was in the augmented reality interface, the data for all those 12 or 10 checkpoints was directly coming from the PLM system, and PLM was integrated with the service lifecycle management system. So all those failure points and the related service data, history, replacement parts, and the digital procedure to fix even was actually pushed into the augmented reality platform. So to summarize, unless you have a service differentiator, you probably as a manufacturer have a risk of getting left behind in the game. So you must have a very differentiated service strategy. So what we see, most of our customers after graduating from E-bombs and managing M-bombs now are consciously implementing the service management system driven on the back of PLM systems.
That's good input, Akhil. What about the 3D definition that is required if you have to do something with AR? Where do you get it? What kinds of integrations have you built in PLM with the 3D data, lightweight 3D data that you would need?
Yeah, most of the PLM platforms, Sundaresh, give you that CAD neutral format. For example, all the product vendors give you that facility to actually export the lightweight 3D, which is compatible with most of the augmented reality platform or handheld platform. So this technically is not an issue, and all the PLM platforms have now gotten into the maturity to be able to facilitate that. And that's what exactly is being used by the AR platform as well. Whenever we build experiences, for example, in Vuforia or any other system, they can easily, let's say, consume this information and show.
Sure. And are you seeing rapid traction in terms of customers adopting AR? Are you seeing the curve is in the initial phase? Few customers are adopting, and then you see it accelerating. How are you seeing it?
I see the appetite from the customer to explore this area more. They definitely want to implement certain specific, I would say, solution to solve very specific problem statements. And I see the trend and the adoption increasing in the next 1 to 2 years. But yes, they have actually moved on beyond the, let's say, the basic pilot to actually production pilots, where they're actually asking us to create those experience to solve a particular production problem, and then basically get into the mass production as and when it matures a little bit more.
Sure. See, from the conversation that we had just in the last 15 minutes or so, the scope and the role that PLM is playing in the complete journey of product design is expanding. What it really also means is a large number of roles within the organization will now start using the PLM system. Possibly in early days, it was only the designers, only the engineering department, only R&D used to log into the PLM systems, right? Today, with the expansion of the role that the PLM system is playing in the new context, I think a lot of personas across the organization. He may be a service technician, he may be a materials engineer, he may be somebody on the shop floor. Everybody might need some kind of information coming in from PLM, of course, from other systems as well, like ERP, SCM, or from CRM. So various systems like this. So um, it becomes very difficult for a person trying to do his task to know and get trained on PLM, and then try to see how to navigate inside PLM, and then do his tasks. So, are you facing this issue with some of your customers? What is the approach that you're taking to see this can be made a lot more easier for the end user?
Yes. So we do see this problem coming from a lot of our end users for various customers. See, today PLM is no more a siloed system. To recap, it's more of a product innovation platform, and you summed it up. It is connected to all the systems, ERP, MES, upstream, downstream, and whatnot. It is also connected now to the CRM systems, right? So what it means? It means that when a designer is actually designing a product, at that point of time, he needs much more information than the core requirement that is coming to him. He or she also needs to gather information from what the marketing is saying, what the sales is saying, right? You can always build loose interfaces with all these enterprise systems, but then the information that you get sometimes is not relevant, or either they get too much information or they get too less information. So the next generation solution that we are building or that we see is creating of an app ecosystem. What it means is you create apps irrespective of the PLM platform or underlying system. You build these apps, for example, in a scalable microservices framework that works on on-prem or cloud, and it actually can be tailored for a particular role in your enterprise. So if you're a designer, I will show you only the data that you need. But as a designer, if you need more than product data, that I can still show you. For example, if you need a particular cost information because you have a target given to design a product under a particular price point, you can actually get that information within that app. If you need different kinds of reporting, I can create a reporting app. I can create a report that really gives you a difference between e-bomb, mem-bomb, sales bomb, configured bomb, whatnot. Again, you can do it in the earlier world, but then it would be very difficult to maintain. A framework leveraging app ecosystem built in on a platform architecture is much more scalable and easily maintainable. So to summarize, apps is a reality. It gives you that neutral wrapper around your enterprise systems, of which PLM is at the core, and you only provide filtered information, whatever the end user is looking for. A lot of customers we are working, for example, in the retail sector, are using very specific apps. And customers in the manufacturing sector even have gone to the level of actually creating very custom app, let's say, for example, part search or change management, or on the spare part management, so that they're able to see only the relevant information on their handheld devices or mobile app.
Yeah, Akhil, if I get you right, it means wherever the core data is coming from PLM, but the end user has to go and do certain other tasks, possibly a framework of apps to do each one of them. Maybe what makes it easier for him, but possibly from taking a thread from what you said earlier, it could even be offline. He can go finish something
Yeah.
on an handheld and come back, and then it will sync with the PLM system and things like that. That's what I'm imagining. I think from what you articulated,
Yes.
uh, that's a good way to extend the capability, because you cannot expect the product platform to always go and meet every need of the customer.
Yes.
So I think it's a good way of doing this. In the conversation, you also mentioned about whether it is on premise or on cloud, something like that you mentioned. So my next question is, how are you seeing the trend? Is PLM still an on premise game? Is it cloud? Is it a little bit cloud, but most of them staying on premise? So what are you seeing in the market?
See, what I see in the market in the past 3 to 4 years, the cloud, the let's say the PLM on cloud, or movement of PLM from on-premise to cloud has definitely gained traction. Every other customer that we are dealing with, especially in the enterprise segment, is either on cloud or definitely planning to go on cloud in the next 1 year or so. Of course, things are a little different depending upon the sectors, but cloud is a reality. Now, when we work with the customers, there are certain considerations we tell them before, when they think about the cloud. First of all, what about the performance and scalability? So cloud gives you that additional flexibility. If you have, most of the organizations have a global PLM system, design anywhere, build anywhere, manufacture anywhere. So they once they implement the foundation, they want to expand. In that case, your own on-premise infrastructure limits you. When you are on cloud, irrespective of the number of users, all the cloud platforms that are available are pretty flexible, give you committed performance. Second most important point is availability of the cloud infrastructure itself. It's more than 99.9 or upwards. Third, cost. When you are having a specific or a niche system like Windchill, you need to have your own workforce being trained on managing application specific infrastructure related activities. With cloud, that is all not needed. So your task force can actually do a little different stuff and leave all these things to the cloud infrastructure or an application service provider. Most important trend that we are seeing in cloud is the client wants single accountability on, let's say, a system integrator or a combination of system integrator or the PLM platform provider, so they can focus on their core business, on designing and manufacturing products, rather than focusing on or taking care of the application specific issues or cloud infrastructure specific issues. This is really a reality, and you will see a lot more traction in the 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, thanks, Akhil. I think in the short time that we had, I think we covered a multiple relevant topics today. I would say, starting from how do you manage complex data on a configurable product? How do you connect it with manufacturing systems? How do you actually manage data coming from the field? As well as how do you use this effectively to provide a next generation service, I would call it. And then also, you always need to be on the right technology and the right stack. So you provided the perspective that cloud is something which is catching up and which has benefits for the enterprise customer. With this, I'm hoping the listeners today got some insights with respect to the experience that we at ITC Infotech have, and some of the trends that we are seeing in the market, and some of the things that customers are adopting. In closing, Akhil, do you want to say anything which we possibly missed with respect to how you see anything in this PLM emerging in this new connected digital thread kind of a paradigm?
No, I think Sundaresh, you actually summed it up. But just to say, PLM is the backbone for driving the complex products, as is envisioned by the industry, by the customers. And unless you have a robust PLM strategy, the whole idea of, let's say, Industry 4.0, which is agile manufacturing, will be very difficult to achieve. So that would be my closing comment. So, and that is what we see. Though most of the manufacturers have some kind of PLM system in place, but then there is always more focus, more investment on making it better, taking it to the next level. So actually, it can align to their Industry 4.0 or agile manufacturing strategy.
Thanks, Akhil. Thanks, everyone. We want to close here. With the time that
Thank you,
we
sir.
had, I thought we tried to cover to the depth that was possible. If you have additional questions, you need some more information, then feel free to write to us. One of us will respond. If it is in the PLM area, Akhil will definitely provide these our experience in this area. Thank you, guys. Have a nice day. Have a nice
Thank you
evening.
all. Thank you,
Bye.
Sundaresh.